Hello, my name is Shuttle here. Welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Merina Kingdom. In previous episode, we managed to conquer a little bit more Yemen. And, well, I mean, basically, that's probably as much as we can conquer in there, let's be honest. We also had quite a bit of radicals at one point, but now they've started going down drastically. Partially because the standard of living in our nation is going up a lot. I think we might do a bit more trading, actually. Let's see, is there imports that we could maybe do? Coal is something that we are going to need a lot. We could import that from the British, I suppose. That's a lot of tariffs that we're going to get. Alright then, sure, let's put that in. Britain, you like me, right? We could probably improve relations with you even further, to be fair. So if we did plan on invading Zanzibar, we'd have to let the infamy probably drop a little bit. But there's a lot of different nations that could, in theory, join. I don't know how many of those will join, assuming that we maintain the low infamy. So we can sort of fly under the radar of a lot of the nations. We have a look at Europe, so Austria-Hungary is still a thing. The borders haven't really changed too much recently in here. What about Asia? So yeah, France still didn't get the province or part of the state over there. China hasn't really changed a lot. No one's still gone and colonized Ainu. Well, I suppose if Japan just hasn't been able to pass any of the good laws, then that kind of explains it. So we've got the handcraft machine gun underway. That's going to be taking 5 to 7 weeks. After that, it's ironclad and gantry crane. So we can at least start switching to the steamships. Of course, that does mean even more coal consumption. So, you know, it's not necessarily all good. Speaking of which, though, we've got... Oh, wow. We've got 3.5 million pops in southern Madagascar already. And now we've got professional army. Finally. About time. Alright then, well, that's going to increase our expenditure here for a little bit, but I'm going to start getting a bit of extra barracks then. I'll get 20 in there, or up to 20 in both of these. That could be 15, and then we'll have the 5 in here, so that's going to be a total of 60 battalions in Ethiopia. And then Yemen, well, I suppose we don't need more in there. We could probably increase the troops in Madagascar back to 20 total. This is going to be a bit costly, but luckily these will be built very quickly as well. It's a matter of a few weeks each of them, and we can build 5 at a time actually. So yeah, that will be fast. The hand grenade machine gun will be done soon. That's great. And now the... Oh wow, yeah, the GDP is now at 70 million. Of course, we're still not in top 10. We need to have like 120 million now. So it's still about a 50 million difference in there. How's the investment pool? It's still 30 million actually. That's not too bad. And if need be, we can always increase the taxes. Alright, sorry about that. The game decided to crash again. So now we didn't pass the professional army. Well, hopefully we can still pass it, but I'm not holding my breath for it. Most likely it's just going to fail this time around. But yeah, if the games keep... Oh, there we go. We didn't actually get the professional army. Okay, I'm going to just let it go to the next month before we start constructing all the things that we don't need to worry about that law passing again. If we crash again, which is entirely possible, but it's just... Like, if the game keeps crashing this much, then I don't think I can continue the series. I'll probably just have to start a new one. Because it's just, you know, if I need to... Every episode, I need to go back a month or so. It's just... It's annoying, let's just say. Right, so... There we go. Autosave done. Now we can start doing the construction work. I wanted to get the professional army... Or the barracks built in a lot of these places. And then the ones in our... home island as well. There we go. And I guess we'll slow down to speed 3 just to be sure that the game isn't having too much issues. And that does mean that the things are going to be happening a bit slower. So I do apologize for that, but it's just I can't avoid the problems right now. I don't know, it could be just it's one of the mods that I have, which I don't really have all that many. It's just like I've got the top bar info in here, I've got the music doesn't, or don't stop the music thing, although it still does stop it from time to time, but it's just for less time. And then I've got the sort of a more condensed trait overview in here. So we've got the handcraft machine gun. Oh, and the no clouds thing. I suppose that's another one, but that's the only 4 mods that I have, so I don't think it's those causing a lot of issues. It's just the game. I suppose there's just, you know, a lot more buildings these days because the AI is at least a little bit better in what it builds. Oh, and there's another revolution in... Oh, proletarian revolution in Confederate States. Alright then. Now, we're losing 50,000... Okay, we were losing 50,000 pounds per week there for a moment. I suppose what I could do is I could soon start switching back to the medium taxes. We wouldn't be losing money. We start or we can do all this construction and still, you know, at least make a little bit profit. It does mean that the loyalist numbers might not be going up as much, but at least we managed to reduce the radicals already quite drastically in here. Oh, Oromia is no longer quite as radical as it used to be. Somaliland and a lot of the others are still pretty bad, but over here, how's the standard of living? Is 14 over there. 14 in Somaliland as well, 13, 12, 18 in Eritrea. We've got 15 in Yemen, 17 in Madagascar, both sides. You know, it's not the worst. But yeah, once we get all the barracks built and the troops hired, we could probably do the war against Zanzibar. We'd have to do the landing in there, but I think we can probably afford that. Now we've got the ironclad being researched. What is spreading in there, actually? Is Genji cranes, okay. You know what, I can switch to that first and then we'll get the ironclad. Because while I might not be able to produce my own steamships quite yet, there is probably quite a bit of steamships in the market already. I mean, I suppose we could have a look. Oh, steamers, yeah, there is plenty of them available. So I will be able to switch the ports to those. I mean, it doesn't mean a bit more coal consumption, but that's not the end of the world. I suppose I could also speak of coal consumption. I'm just going to build another 5 coal mines in here. I know there's going to be coming from the government sector then, or the sort of... Oh yeah, it is government construction. Right, so yeah, it's going to be from the government sector in here, but it should be, you know, very profitable overall, I dare say. So I'm not too worried about using it for that one. We've still got low market access in Gondar and Somaliland, but that's 99%. That's not really low, I dare say. A couple of insufficient tax capacity. How are we doing in the society tax right now? We are getting anarchism, okay. And if we could get the identification documents for the extra taxes in there. And now the literacy rate is up to 51.6%, so it's slowly climbing up again, but it's not all that effective. But I suppose actually, we have a look at the, for example, the barracks in here. Have a look at the workforce. The standard of living officers are actually really good, and the servicemen are also middling, so it's not too bad. I mean, to be fair, we got pretty high wages in there. Like we got the high wages, or is it very high in fact? Very high military wages, so yeah, that is going to help. So that's in fact going to help a little bit with the standard of living as well. Of course, the impact from all the barracks that we do is not that massive, but it does then mean that the arms industry and such can also make a little bit better profit, which means that they can keep more people hired, which of course means a bit less peasants and such, or unemployed in some cases. But there we go, we've lost 2 million radicals in about a year. That's pretty decent, I dare say. And we managed to gain 700,000 loyalists in a year. So that's also quite nice. So overall, I think our... Oh, is that... Right, France is fighting the uprising there. Or at least... Are they actually already fighting? They are already fighting one there. They've got another one that is brewing up in... down here. Yeah, we've got 26.2 million pops. That's not too bad. It is growing at a pretty good speed as well. I think we might need a bit more bureaucracy as well in some places. Like, where do we have the tax capacity issues? We could use a bit more in southern Madagascar, so we'll build one there at least. And then in northern Madagascar, we've got a little bit problems there as well. So I suppose we'll build a government administration up there. So if we can get a bit more bureaucracy, we could maybe increase the institutions a bit further. Like, well, I suppose we can't increase the health system, unfortunately. I do actually wonder, though. We're not trying to pass any laws. We can't change the hospital unless we can get rid of the state religion. Now, if we go for the freedom of conscience, Devout would disapprove that, but it's not too bad, actually. And that would allow us to start switching some of those laws. If we try passing the total separation, they would be upset about that one. Another one is to try to pass the... one of the republic things over here. But the landowners would be radicalized from that one, as well as the devout, just for presidential, and for the parliamentary one, it would be devout and landowners again that would be radicalized. So, not necessarily the best option. Not gonna close the borders. Oh, in taxation. Oh, right, there's no better taxation laws for us yet. Because no one's supporting that law. Alright then. I do actually wonder who's gonna win the next elections. Well, the Radical Party will probably still be the winner. So when's the next election? February 1919. Okay. Still got about 2 years before that. I suppose another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start building even more universities over here. And how's the... Where do we have the trade centers? We've got 4 in northern Madagascar. We've got 51 in southern Madagascar. Damn. Pretty good. And those do get paid fairly well, in fact. That's quite nice. So how much are we getting from tariffs? 3.6 thousand. Not quite as much as I was hoping for. But still something. And we could import... Oh, lead is something we're going to need more. Okay, is there something I could do with the extra lead mines in here, perhaps? Or make them more profitable? Not really. Not really. Well, I suppose that's got to be it then. Well, I mean, yeah, we could build more, but we don't really have the pops in here right now. Although, is it there? There's some migration away from the state, but there's no migration into the state. Or at least, like, the total influx is away. But, oh well. We just need to wait for the infamy to drop down. I'm supposed in about 2 years, we should be ready to fight the Zanzibar. We'll do the landings in there. I suppose what we could do is we could build a few more naval bases in here. We've got 20 already. But another 10 at least. Maybe we could build 10 over here as well. So that will be our fleet of 40, so that will be able to land in 40 battalions from Ethiopia, for example. And we'll get another army in Ethiopia that is like 20 battalions. And then, well, I suppose once we get into Zanzibar, we might be able to get some troops from there. But that would allow us to then maybe start fighting Portugal. Or Portugal, but they're part of the Austro-Hungarian market. They got a defensive pact with Austro-Hungary, and they are allied to Australia. So, I don't think we'll be able to conquer that. But if we could get Zanzibar at least, it would be, you know, a bit of stepping stone on the other side of Kenya. Through the British territory, so to speak. So it would still be pretty beneficial overall. Standard of living is now 14.4 on average in our nation, so that's not too bad. What do we have? So do we have any... Oh yeah, we've got 13 trade centers in Somaliland. In Yemen we've got 0. So I suppose it's just the coastal ones in here. But you know, it's still okay. We've got pretty decent GDP as well, and we've got 76.7 million. Or pretty good prestige, but the GDP is definitely growing. Oh well, it seems like it's growing right now at least, but I think it was around this high already before. But then we started doing things that didn't necessarily improve the situation. So trade unions are actually a bit radical about the laws that we've changed. Probably mostly the professional army. They opposed that, so now they're a little bit upset. I'm sure that eventually it will return to its usual self, and looks like the barracks have been built pretty much already, so that's good. In terms of once we want to start spreading further south, that should be doable. But yeah, our relations with Zanzibar are already pretty decent, low, so we can probably stop damaging the relations there. We've still got the rivalries, so the relations won't probably get any better, and now we've got all the coal mines underway, so that's good. Now we've got a lot of naval bases underway as well later on, but these coal mines will probably be fairly profitable, I dare say, and we've got the workforce in here available for them. I think one of the things, let's have a look at the market. Oh, right, so unproductive rate for the coal right now, it's importing less and less. Oil would be potentially something that we might want to import. British market is selling a little bit. Guess we'll buy that. Because we do have our own production of oil over here. I'm just gonna... Oh, we can have up to 10 oil rigs there. Is there any other oil rigs locations for us? Not as far as I can tell. I'm gonna build... You know, I'm just gonna build all of that. Oh. I don't think that's gonna be quite accurate. Right, so we'll just make sure that there's gonna be 10 increase in there total. Or up to 10 total of these, so that would be a pretty good amount of production. It's going to use a bit of coal to produce this. At the same time, it will produce quite a bit of oil overall, so I'm not too worried about that one. How's the radical numbers? They are still slowly dropping, and the loyalist numbers are very slowly climbing. But it's kind of plateaued by now. But as soon as the trade unions are quite upset, and I suppose the interest group overall ratings from the amount of radicals have gone down a lot. I mean, it's still about 20% of our population are radicals, so it's fairly sizable population, or portion of the population overall. It could be a lot worse, and it has been a lot worse. If we have a look, well, there is still quite a bit of radicals, especially in Yemen, Gondar, Amhara, and Somaliland. I think Oromia and Eritrea are slightly better. It's not massively better, mind you, but a little bit. So how much of an army does Zanzibar have? 5 barracks and 11 conscription centres. So they've got mobile artillery and light infantry in the conscription centres, and in barracks they've got light infantry and mobile artillery. So not great. So I'm pretty sure that our landing should be able to get through there or do the dirty deeds that they are bound to do. Oh, we've got 52. Oh wow. And we've got a lot of battalions already in Ethiopia. I mean, this army, you're only level 2. Okay, 52 is your max in there. Alright. So we probably have the 60 total right now. That's fine by me. Did we build another university? We got another university underway. We might build a second one over here in Oromia. Oh, well, technically speaking, it's the 7th one. But we'll get another one in there, so we can get close to 120 innovation per week. I think we'll need to increase the innovation to pretty much the max if we want to get enough. I mean, we won't get through all the text first of all, but if we want to get any better in the text, then we do need to improve that as much as possible. But we're going to get the cranes at least in 6 to 8 months, then we'll probably get the ironclads. After that is maybe back to production. Speaking of which, we're getting the vacuum canning there, which is, well, it's going to require more oil, which is a little bit of an issue, admittedly. But after that, it's probably going to be either reinforced concrete, improved fertilizer threshing machines, or rotary valve engine. And after that, we're going to get the electricity. I'm hoping that we can at least get the electricity before the end of the run. Yeah, we've got 81 battalions total now, so that's at least a decent-sized army, as long as we're not fighting any of the big nations. I'm the 3rd largest producer of sugar. That's giving us a little bit of prestige. I mean, we've got almost... wait, how much do we actually need to have prestige? Oh, we can't go any higher than this. Right, because we're subject of France. But I suppose we can get more and more... I mean, we've got 213 from army power projection. How much is our power projection anyway? 1069. Alright then. I mean, probably increased quite a bit with the increased army that we managed to... or the more barracks that we managed to build. And I suppose once we get the... well, first of all, get the cannon grenades and then the ironclads, so we can get our fleet to be a bit better. So we should be getting at least a little bit more power projection from the... oh, well, navy power projection. They're currently 204. I reckon it probably will be somewhere like 250, 300, somewhere around there. Although I suppose we're going to get a new flotillas as well, so it's probably going to go closer to 400 then maybe. Right, we're slowly getting a bit more radicals, are we? Maybe. It's not increasing too quickly, at least. Oh, the coal import is a bit unproductive. I mean, we're not actually importing more than 11, so we'll just cancel that one then. Is there any other trade routes that we could do? Lead is something we are going to need a lot. We could import from the British market or from the Confederate States. British market would be a bit more profitable, though. We'll take that one. Then iron is something we need a lot. Because we could import that from the Spanish markets. And then oil, we already got some imports for oil. There's wine imports as well that could be needed. I suppose we could import that from Egypt. That's going to be a decent bit of productivity in there. There we go, down to 9 infamy. So slowly but surely, we'll be ready to declare war on Zanzibar. We might not have all the flotillas up and ready for that. Speaking of which, we should probably get an admiral. We haven't needed one for a while, but we are going to need one now. Expert naval commander, that seems like a good idea. Persistent, so less morale loss. It is a landowner. Oh, actually, wrathful. Offense and defense, more morale loss though. Firebrand, more popularity. Dockyard organizer supply consumption goes down. And celebrity commander, so more command limit. I'm going to save the armed forces one, just to increase their clout a little bit further. I mean, it's current 16.6. To be fair, do we need to bolster them anymore? I don't think we do. I'm going to stop bolstering them. And after that, I suppose industrial is one of the ones that I could start bolstering again, or just not bolster anyone right now. Maybe put in a bit more edicts for, like, more... actually, or decrease. Let's have a look. So we got... oh, that's where we got the manufacturing. Right, over here we got the... because over there I could put in more agriculture and Gondar. They just don't actually cost that much for us, which is quite nice. I don't know why it's reduced cost, but I'm not going to complain. These already have edicts. Yemen doesn't have anything. Suppose we could also put in, like, emergent relief or something. Somewhere. Where would we put a resource industry in Yemen? Got some fishing there. We don't have any logging, but we do have mining. So that's going to give us a bit more lead. Although the lead mines, I don't know how much of an increase it's going to have in the throughput in there. I mean, technically speaking, no, it's not going to increase the amount of people that they hire, is it? No, I don't think it does. Well, regardless. It might take a while for it to be properly active there. Or it might take, like, to the next month or something. Or to factor that in. But regardless. Ooh, oil discovery in Yemen. Well, I'll be building all of those. That does mean that we'll be paying a bit more for the construction, but, you know, getting all that oil will be very good. How close are we getting to the vacuum canning? That is... Oh, that should be done in very shortly. So then we can start switching to the vacuum canning. That's going to increase a bit more oil consumption, which might not be all that profitable right now, but it does also mean that the whaling stations are making good money. I suppose, especially once we get the... Well, we need to get the ironclads, which we're... It is queued up already after this one. Oh, there we go, vacuum canning done. Right, so if we go through the food industry in here, so it's not necessarily going to be making a lot of money extra. It does reduce the grain use a lot, increases the fish use, which makes the fisheries a bit more profitable. And, well, oil price is going to be bloody massive. But it does increase the amount of groceries that we produce quite a bit as well. It's like 30 per industry, or level of the industry, so it's not too bad. The standard of living is now 14.1, so it's been going down a little bit again. How bad is it Gondar? I think Gondar is probably, yeah, it's 12.2, so that's the lowest one that we have by the looks of it. Like, a lot of the surrounding areas, especially in Ethiopia, aren't necessarily that much better, but it's just a tiny bit of increase in there. That does help. We're getting a lot of oil rigs in Oromia soon, though, so that's probably going to start making quite a bit more money, or at least start lowering the oil price. That's at least the idea. Whether that's actually going to happen or not, well, remains to be seen, let's just say. We've got, oh, we're number 13 now in GDP-wise. We've got 82.5 million. I'm pretty sure that once we get a bit more, well, I suppose the private sector is getting a lot more steel mills, glasswork, synthetic plants. Which, to be fair, we don't really need the synthetic plants ourselves, not yet at least. Although, actually, why is it spreading in production now? It is the reinforced concrete, so that's actually more construction sector throughput. So we'll build the things faster, which is quite handy, especially in the places where we've still got some turmoil. We've still got 34.4 in Somalia, for example. Oh, we don't have any in Oromia. Or in Amhara. Gondar still has 34.6. And Yemen's got 30.9. Okay, but the amount of radicals no doubt have been reduced partially thanks to that, or at least the turmoil effects aren't in there anymore, so the construction speed in here, in Oromia, should be pretty decent. Well, I suppose we're not building the university quite yet. We are building a lot of stuff in Oromia, so there is still a little bit of a negative in the construction efficiency, but it's not going to be there too long. How's the investment pool, by the way, looking? Oh, it's 34 million again, and it's increasing a lot. I suppose we're using quite a bit of the stuff. Okay, well, in that case, let's go ahead and get another 2 construction sectors over here. I'll get another 2 in here. Now we'll get another one in here. So we'll have a total of 5 extra, so that's going to get us to 225 construction. This should be done fairly quickly. And then that's going to start increasing the construction speed in a lot of the other areas as well, which is quite nice. It will increase the expenditures as well. But it's not going to be too bad. I mean, we're currently at 2 million in debt, so, you know, we can afford that for the time being. And we can also construct our things faster, which means that our GDP is going to start growing faster. And we're currently number 13. I think we can reach... We will probably be able to reach the top 10 before the end of the game. I mean, admittedly, it's less than 20 years remaining, but at this speed we're building the oil and all that, it will be helping a lot, let's just say. We've got 3 levels of oil rigs already in Oromia. If need be, we can always put in a bit of the tanker cars here, so that's going to be a little bit less labor as needed. Also, I should probably... Let's go to the oil pumps through here. Or oil rigs. I'm going to put tanker cars in all of them. And then I'm going to make them publicly traded, so more capitalists. So So that's going to start increasing the standard of living average as well. Which is definitely good news for us, of course. How bad is the oil price? Or not the oil price, the coal price right now? It's plus 25%. It's not great, but it's not the worst. Plus what we could do, of course, is just... Oh, what's the shortage? Telephones. Oh, well, that's none of my business. Right, frankly, so the coal mines, we could probably build another 5 in here. We'll build another 10, actually. And there we go, we got the country cranes. So we're going to have higher levels of ports. But let's go ahead and switch the ports themselves to industrial ports now. So it is actually going to cost us a bit more in terms of the coal, but then we'll need a lot less clippers. And then now we're getting the ironclad. Hopefully it's going to start spreading as well. But that remains to be... Well, we'll need to wait up until the end of the week. It is. Okay, good. So it's 13 to 18 months. We are getting... Oh, 15.8. Right, we did get another university, didn't we? No, well, maybe. But we've got a university underway at least. So we'll get up to pretty close to 120 innovation at least. We've got a little rate of 53% now, so it's at least slowly improving. But, you know, it takes a while to grow that. Is there any institutions that I could pass? I mean, law enforcement is one of them, but we don't have the radical or the turmoil too much anymore, so I don't think we need to worry about that one too badly. We could go for the home affairs, increase that, or we could just try saving a bit more points to start incorporating Gondar. Because that's also only 5 years to incorporate. That's 900 bureaucracy though, so that's a little bit on the expensive side. We do have taxation capacity issues. Both Madagascar and Amhara is having a lot. Okay, so Amhara, first of all, we're going to give you 5 more government administrations. I'm going to give 1 more on both of these in Madagascar. And there we go. So we're losing £70,000 per week, which isn't great, but the amount of oil production that is increasing right now is bloody massive. And I suspect that, oh yeah, the oil price, at least in here, has started dropping drastically. Because that's partially probably just because it's not fully... market access is only 93%. Partially because we don't have enough infrastructure for all of that. We could probably build another one in there. Put that to the top of the list. Hey, expand the oil industry completed. Booming oil industry, oil extractor throughput plus 33% for 5 years. I'll take it. So that means even more production. I mean, throughput, yeah, it's now 38% total already, so that's pretty decent. And that does mean, oh yeah, there's a lot of employment in here. What's the... Okay, so the lowest one is the laborers with 13 standard of living. They are the... Well, they are a decent chunk of the workforce there, like the 40-something%. So they're not the only ones in there. And now we're getting even more oil. I mean, how's the standard of living total? So it is actually... Those laborers will be lowering the average a tiny bit, but I suppose the machinists in there... Let's have a look. So they had a standard of living 15.5, so those will... Oh, now it's 13.8. Okay, so it's not actually reducing the standard of living too much anymore. It might actually be slightly increasing just with that, and then of course the rest of these will increase the average standard of living within the state a bit further. We've got another election season approaching. Looks like the Radical Party... Okay, the Agrarian Party is now its own thing. Landowners are not in any of the parties. Do they want to be joining one of them? I presume so. Yeah, they want to join the Agrarian Party. Right, so these two would join hands. Oh, fair enough then. Well, I do realise that we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, or check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until the next time, bye-bye.